There's an invisible cost to resilience. People often talk about resilience as being a strength. And I thought that too for a long time. I mean, I lived that way for a long time. And I used to say, life is hard, but I'm harder. And even to this day, I still believe I'm the strongest woman I know. Like, it's a badge, right? But I've also recently realized that oftentimes that strength is actually just protective armour. So the strong ones, we just have a thicker layer than most, and it shows up in being hypervigilant. It shows up in bracing. It shows up in, being in control of everything all the time, because it's how you preempt tragedy before it strikes. And that invisible cost is palatability, right? You don't speak the truth 100% of the time because we've all learned that that can be dangerous. And I believe that people who have had adversity and trauma are probably even more palatable than others because they know the cost associated with being vulnerable and being visible. You don't consciously choose to be palatable, though. You don't consciously choose to play small. What you do choose is to put all of your focus and all of your energy on everything and everyone else. You are subconsciously, in many ways, attempting to control your environment. You read the room, you calibrate people, you watch for patterns and listen for tone. And by inference, because your energy is entirely on those things external to yourself, you inadvertently play small, right? You aren't giving yourself the focus or the energy to come to the party in your full glory because you're sidetracked, right? You're distracted by managing everything else. And that feels safer, right? You think that if you watch the world and you watch the patterns, you might just be able to be prepared for what's coming. And you believe that by being what I'm calling palatable, you can stay under the radar, while your eyes are glued to the horizon for the next tragedy, because that's what you've learned. The crazy thing is that even when you're always watching, you don't always know when the bad thing is coming. Watching just makes you feel like you're in control of that potential bad thing not happening. So ultimately, putting all of your energy into managing the outside world makes the real you, not the strong you, the real you, invisible, because you're too scared to relax. You're too scared to be content. You're too scared to just be present because you might miss the warning signs. Now, there is only one way out of palatability, and that is through visibility. And I don't mean visibility as being on stage or having pink hair. I mean allowing yourself to be fully you, unapologetically authentic, to not hold back, not brace, not prepare for tragedy. And that's really hard when you've been hit multiple times, right? You learn time and time again that that is scary. And in many ways, it then seems silly to not be in protective mode. But the problem is, by numbing yourself to pain with this armour, you also numb yourself to joy. You stop the playfulness and you stop the love from getting through. And to become visible, you have to build from what I call the rubble of your personal earthquake. You have to understand that your personal earthquake isn't just the event, it's the meaning that you gave it at the time. So it's not just, I was sexually assaulted. It's, I was sexually assaulted and therefore I no longer trust people, or I feel unsafe at all times. It's that add-on, that's the earthquake. It's how it affected you. Now, I have a framework called pivot, and the P for pivot is the personal earthquake, right? So the person you were before the personal earthquake is not the person you are after. And if you have gone into that armored up, hypervigilant identity, it can feel very unnatural to be another identity. So you then need to look at your values, right? Because once you've had a personal earthquake, your values change, right? You no longer give a shit about your nice house. All you want is, your health back, or your peace, or your loved one, whatever it is, right? And you realize that you have a choice. A lot of people say that you don't, but I have to break it to you. You actually do. And no disrespect, some people, they make a very different choice. But if you're watching this video, you've decided, subconsciously or consciously, to stick around and work through it. So the fact that you were able to decide that is actually pivotal. Because true resilience is the true north action you get from that pivot, right? It's using those building blocks. It's using, the earthquake, self-awareness around what that earthquake actually was and what it meant to you and how you framed it. It's using your identity, who you were before, who you were after, and who you want to be now. And it's looking at your values and reframing them. It's owning the shift, and it's using that rubble to build something new. And that's when you can integrate your trauma into your life and come out the other end being truly visible. And again, my favorite word, unapologetically authentic. So although there is a cost to resilience, there is also a gain if you work through it properly and don't just perform what everyone calls strength, right? The point is, you don't have to be as strong as you think you do. There is another way through.